Breaking news, a body has been found on Horn Island near where missing 18-year-old Nolan Wells went missing. Search crews like this one you see here in the air have been searching for him for more than 40 hours now.
Melanated, colored man would you hang out with majority of white people?
You can stay.
Toby, stay.
Please let me know in the chat. All this could have been avoided. Even with the Carmelo Anthony situation, why, if you are growing up in a dominant white school, are you going to go to a track meet with a pocket knife? There's some things that can be avoided. You're looking for trouble. Before you even involve yourself in that situation, think, if I am the minority and I'm outnumbered, why would I even be in this place to begin with? Ladies and gentlemen, I had a invitation from my place of occupation to go on a cruise for X amount of hours, but I was the only melanated worker. What does it look like me going on a boat? God knows where we going. Don't have no type of cellular service to call anybody for help. And I'm out here thinking it's sweet. I don't have to face trouble for me to understand that it's around the corner. We have to wake up as a people. Big 2026, we're still making the same mistakes, trusting a whole. Now, I'm not saying white people are bad, but come on now. Do you really feel comfortable being the minority? And I be seeing that in public all the time, where it be that one token amongst the friends of 10 white people. Like, bruh, are you okay? Blink twice. If you're okay, blink twice if they're holding you under captivity. We got to stop the cap. Nolan, rest in peace, but got to use your spirit of discernment and not be the only token amongst your peers. We got to stop the cap.
Stop the cap. Xavier Wells' case is just not sitting well with anybody. Especially people in the black community are not trusting what happened. They're not believing that this was some type of accident. He was allegedly going to see a girl, and so I guess a guy named Warren, one of the friends, left him behind. He went on another boat. There is video circulating online that...
Ladies and gentlemen, through this unfortunate situation, we can take heed to not hang out with a certain ethnic group if we're going to be the minority, especially if we're going to be the only one at the function. I was invited to a cruise by my fellow co-workers at my place of occupation, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be the only ninja at this place. What does it look like me with my co-workers talking about, look at me, I'm the captain now, no, it looks sweet, but it ain't sweet. We gotta stop the cap. Make it home to your loved ones. Make it home to your pets. Make it home even though you have nobody in your four corners of your house. Just make it home.
It's really like a brotherhood, not just in here, like school, community, classroom, like everything.
Yeah.
Just really having love for your teammates and just Ocean Springs in general.
You know where your black friends is at when it's time to run a track meet. You know where your black friends is at when it's time to throw a football. But when it comes to the 4th of July, they're a no-call, no-show. When you need them the most, they're nowhere to be seen. But when it's time to go play sports, oh, that's where they show up, right? That doesn't make any sense. If you just look at the story from outside looking in, you would think from the impression he doesn't have a single black friend, like the Carmelo Anthony situation. But that's not the case. He actually knows blacks. So how come he was the only one there? Y'all let me know in the comment section.
Need an independent autopsy, because if they don't, whoever they select, because they get to select who they send your body to, is going to cover the shit up.
They're trying to cause a racial divide. They want a feud between whites and blacks. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let that happen. When you go out into society, we're not living in Jim Crow laws. It's not 1935. I don't have to say, yes, massa, can I go outside and look at the sun? I don't have to tell massa, I need to use the restroom. Do I have permission to use the toilet? It's not 1917, ladies and gentlemen. It's big 2026. No soy dominicano, pero ya tú sabe. What a time to be alive. Our biggest stress really is going to our 9-to-5s and dealing with the stress of work. But in the grand scheme of things, what is really the issue? Nothing. As long as you're healthy, you are blessed. So through these unfortunate situations, do not let these situations persuade your mind to thinking that you're a victim and that the white people's out to get you and that you're unsafe and that you have to have your hand at a certain clip, keep your hand on that steel iron at all times. No, don't live your life in fear. Once again, we are not living in Jim Crow laws. Now, to say that it is sweet out here, by all means, it is not sweet. But don't automatically point the finger at the white man. Every single time somebody ends up missing, somebody is deleted, no longer here living with us, we automatically point the finger towards the white man. We got to stop the cap. Wait till facts and evidence comes out clear as day. Then you can make the videos, assume all you want, point the finger. But until cold hard facts is out, we can't just assume and think it's the white man's fault. The body was found floating around that island. That is so unfortunate. How did that body even in there to begin with? Maybe he was intoxicated, maybe he was under the influence. How come his phone was found but his body wasn't? How come he was left behind but his friends were still partying? There's a lot of stuff that needs to be uncovered. And we understand there's more than meets the eye. We also understand to read between the lines. But with that being said, we can't be out here looking foolish. Too many content creators, 30, 40, 50 plus, with kids, with degrees, multiple degrees, even doctorates, making videos without the facts being put out. Now, I understand you can have an opinion, but once again, we are living in a day and age to where now the masses is pushing out racial division. In a world where we need to be united, they want us to be divided. I see between the cap. This is a spiritual word for ladies and gentlemen. Keep your antennas up, stay prayed up out here, but show love to one another. Just because somebody doesn't share the same skin color as you doesn't mean that is your enemy. We have to stop the cap.
Stop the cap. And he went with these friends who somehow left him there. They left him there on the island and went back to the mainland saying that they didn't know where he was. Supposedly, he met a girl while on the island and spent time with her. And then they left, saying that they're saying on the online reports that they assumed that he would come back with the girl, although the girl didn't bring him. That the girl, on the other hand, is saying that she left him with friends and she assumed that he would be returning with friends. Those are the two stories that are circulating out there. Nothing definitive about what happened to him. We don't know yet the cause of death, but all this is being heavily watched and heavily covered by those of us who are committing ourselves to following this story.
And his white friends who were with him on the trip have already hired lawyers.
Nolan's friends all deleted their social media platforms, and there's been a question mark as of why, if you are not hiding anything, if you are innocent, why would you delete your social media? And that is what's being portrayed on his friends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go play devil's advocate. If you are a white person, you already know what time it is. A black person died around you, they're about to come for your head in the comment section. So it is of the best interest of his friends to turn off the comments of their social media platforms. Why would they keep that? Why would they keep the comment section on knowing they're about to get harassed? We know how it is. People point the finger. They don't want to wait for their facts to be released. They just automatically assume that the white person did it. Now, when the facts come out, we can judge, but until then, we can't just point the finger at a certain ethnic group. Now, who told Nolan to hang out with a majority of white people when he is the minority? Not only is he the minority, he is the only one who does that. In my place of occupation, I am the only brother, and I'll be damned if I go anywhere on a boat. What does it look like? And I'm pretty sure they won't do nothing to me. But still, it ain't sweet. You gotta have a chip on your shoulder. Ain't nothing sweet. Just like Jay-Z said, you still in a Benz. Doesn't matter how much bread you are, man. When you get pulled over, all they see is a black person. They pulled over Terrence Crawford in his own city in Omaha, Nebraska. He just defeated Canelo. In less than 48 hours, he got arrested. If not, he got interrogated by police. And he's a whole champion. So, yeah, there is power in the skin. Don't let people tell you otherwise. Now, is there racism still being coherent present day? Absolutely. But don't let racism alter you to live in fear. But with that same statement, we got to use our spirit of discernment. If you're invited somewhere and you're the minority, what does it look like you being the only one there? Then when you end up missing, who do you have to blame but yourself?
Wells vanished July 4 during a 4th of July boat outing to Horn Island, Mississippi, about 10 miles off the Gulf Coast. A park ranger found him in the water near the northwest end on July 6th. His phone was not with him. It was in his father's possession. The island has no cell coverage and is only accessible by private boat. Search teams, including the Cajun Navy, scoured land and sea since his disappearance. Authorities have not said how many people were on the boat or who made the missing person report. But online video suggests a possible altercation before the friends left Wells behind. One friend is the child of a judge, and all of them quickly retained lawyers. Wells was reportedly heading to meet a girl, but instead his friends took another boat and departed without him. Why did his phone return, but he did not? Why the immediate legal protection? The family and activists are furious, comparing this to other cases where black victims' deaths were dismissed as accidents. Officials are awaiting DNA confirmation, though the family says they have identified him.
Black people have got to stop hanging out with groups of white people. And I mean that. If you're gonna be the only black person in that group, go home. Go home. Because these days, you just can't trust white people anymore. Obviously. It happens time and time and time again.
Nolan Xavier Wells is an 18-year-old college student. He went missing on the 4th of July after partying with his friends on Horn Island, and there have been so many questions, speculation, and how did this happen? Things are slowly starting to make sense, so we're just gonna talk about it. I'm very scatterbrained, so I'm trying to get all of the thoughts out. It's just, there's a lot of moving pieces. This right here is Katie McCormick. Katie McCormick is one of the people that was around Nolan on the 4th of July. I've been reading a lot of comments on Facebook, and all of these comments are from people that know them. They either know Nolan, Katie, one of the boys, a mixture. Yeah, as we know, people say a ton of things on the internet, so I just want to make sure before I put things out that I actually believe this to be true, because I don't want to share anything that is, unhelpful, messy, disrespectful family, anything like that. There are a lot of posts saying that Katie is his girlfriend. That's not true. Many people that were there that day have stated that Katie and Nolan met on that day. They met on that day. Nolan came with his people. Katie came with her own people. They met because it was this huge party that was happening in the water. This is a comment on Facebook from Ashton. Ashton knows Katie personally. I'm going to let y'all pause and read. What Ashton is saying is that Katie is a genuine and sincere person, that she hasn't really played a part in this, did not meet him until that day. Ashton continued, if anything, everyone needs to be questioning the friends and definitely not Katie. I personally sense genuinity behind this comment. I looked at their page. They seem to actually know each other. This is another person who knows Katie personally. She said, I know Katie since she was in 4th grade, and her story is literally the only one that hasn't changed. Now that line kind of sat with me. The only one that hasn't changed. So whose story changed? Then she asks, who was on the boat with her that can back her up and vouch that she was with them the whole time. Grace goes on and says that Katie has made a full statement to police and Nolan's mom, and he didn't see him physically get back on the boat, but she saw his friends telling him to get on the boat, but everybody was in the water. And I've seen videos, there was a lot of people. I'm sure she doesn't know the exact time, but what I do know is Katie's story is the only one who hasn't changed at all this time. She told the cops and the mom the same thing. So she reiterated the fact that her story hasn't changed. So whose story has changed? I found this very interesting. And again, this is somebody who personally knows them. Grace goes on and she says, the boys also stated they came back and realized that he didn't ride back with somebody else. They then stated as well too, a different story, is that he stayed behind with Katie. So which one was it? Did he stay behind with Katie? Or was he supposed to be on the boat with y'all and y'all didn't realize that he came back or didn't come back? She goes on, and I found this interesting as well too. Several have said they saw the boys fighting. I've seen that video of the person who was parked next to them, and if you listen to the audio, it sounds like people are fighting. They're like, get on the fucking boat, or it's hard to tell. There's a lot going on, but you can definitely sense a fight is going on. Said several have stated they saw the boys fighting. This would have been after the encounter with Katie. I don't know. This is a lot. I genuinely feel like Katie, because a lot of people on Facebook at least are attacking her. I genuinely feel like, and I could be wrong, this is just my opinion. I feel like Katie is innocent in this. I feel like they most likely met, and it sounds like was somebody jealous or upset that he was talking to this pretty white girl, the black guy, whatever, and he's with a bunch of white men. Was somebody butthurt about that? Because according to the other girl, they started fighting after the encounter with Katie. So what triggered this fight? And also, why are they telling different stories? We got one story is, he got on the boat and we thought he was on the boat, then we realized he wasn't. And then, but the other story is he stayed with Katie, because people are leaving those comments on my Instagram too, is that he stayed with Katie. He insisted on being back there with Katie. But Katie got on the boat with her people. I don't know. And Katie's been consistent with the police and his mother.
Never in my life go on a trip with white people and I'm the only black person. Never, 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 never. I think it's truly sad that I have never heard anything about this story, but when I seen these 4 pictures, I knew what the story would be in the comments. I knew. How y'all go on a trip and he the only one that don't come back? And you know what this reminded me of? This shit right here. Y'all remember this? You're the only black. I will never in my life go do something with nothing but white people and I'm the only black person. Never, 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 never.